Hello, dear folks of this lovely show from East to West that is exclusively sponsored by Paul Batanley. You're welcome to see one more time the Trump new plan, 100-day plan. However, today you are welcome to a new discussion and about the news that we just heard. I get excited about. President of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, is visiting Latin America, namely Peru, right?
Or the premier, so I'm not sure.
And also the premier,
Okay,
Xi Jinping himself
okay.
will be there, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And it is exactly in the heat when we are talking about the new policies during the next 8 years. No, say 8. No, come on.
We hope.
I'm advancing for his second term already.
I wouldn't do that.
For the next 4 years of his presidency. Well, there's a lot to talk about. And this show, East West, is sponsored exclusively by Paul Batanley. To Paul, thank you very much for sponsoring. So to the show. Last show, in the title of Let's Get Serious.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we talked about a little part, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new policies of Donald Trump that he had planned to include in his 100-day plan. Now that we hear the good news about Mr. Xi Jinping, President of China, visiting Latin America, I would like to share this information, also discuss, to shed lights on this issue with my dear friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, writer and a political commentator. So Ken, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. I love you. I love your viewers.
Okay.
Thank you.
To make a prerequisite that all, in spite of the fact that I've been here for 32 years already,
Yes, sir.
I still think that the most beautiful thing on the global earth would be that the United States and China shake hands, enter into a collaboration for world peace.
Right.
And especially now when we're talking about Trump presidency, right? We keep our fingers crossed for better world, better tomorrow.
Exactly.
Right? So what's your reading about the situation now, the visit now, and the possible future that will lead to, please, positively or even negatively, please?
Well, number one, your G&E TV just hosted the Chinese American Film Festival, and what you're talking about, and that's all about.
Thank you for mentioning that.
And that's all about collaboration between China and America to create some entertainment together. And this is just an expansion of that, where we want more love, between China and America. The people are the people. We're all just people, so there's no difference. Like I say, we all have the same soul. Okay, and so I think with President-elect Trump, I think he will be reaching out for more communication. I think it will become friendlier but stronger. Okay, we'll have a stronger position than I think America's had under President Obama. And that will create more respect, and the more respect two countries have for each other, I think the more chance of them getting along better and collaborating on success, mutual. I want everybody to eat well in China, everybody to eat well in America. That's what we all want.
In fact, of course, I highly appreciate the two facts. Number one, you mentioned about the function of a Chinese American Film Festival,
beautiful,
which is still
operation.
ongoing at this time as we're talking about, right? That it creates a collaboration,
yes,
right, through which concept exchange, culture exchange, understanding exchange are enhanced. So that is exactly the direction that the world needs to go, right?
Needs to, yes.
Needs to. We really need to. We need peace rather war than war. That's why we named the show Collaboration, Peace, Donald Trump Presidency.
See, and with the reality of nuclear proliferation now, where these bombs can kill a lot of people in a short period of time.
Oh yeah, we'll touch that.
We just can't do that.
We'll touch that.
We'll
touch that part momentarily.
Yeah.
And the second part that I appreciate is that you take a very positive look, right? You as a strong Republican, I really appreciate the fact that you think that way. I adore your concept.
I would like to be ambassador to China. I would
Okay,
like
good.
that
You
done.
sound like one already.
I
Right,
would.
good.
I'd like to
Okay,
be.
good. Question. Okay, questions still remain. Differences still remain, right? I'm talking about the fact that we have China, we have Russia in between,
Yes.
and we have United States.
Yes.
All right, and we have three countries. Right? How do we, among the three, everybody wants to be number one, right? So does United States, so does China, so does Russia, right? Do you think that's a fact or that's exaggeration?
Well, I think America has been very strong in many, many ways, has been the strongest country in the world that has helped maintain peace rather than, try to start bad things. But I don't know what good it does for Russia, China, or America to try to overcome each other. If we work together, if those three countries could hug each other, this world would be safe.
Oh my God,
And
I love that.
It would.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And you know what? Well, anyway, put it this way: if I'm wrong, just to correct me, okay? And people, especially people in this country, who are so fond of sports, they are kind of fit in a way to think about winners or losers by looking at the scores.
Right, and nobody's a loser. You don't have to be classified
you're
as
right,
a loser.
right.
Yeah.
And then we're saying if there are two teams playing this basketball game, right? And it is 100 over 99.
Yes, sir.
So whoever has the 100 is the winner,
Right.
and the 99 is a loser.
And the 99 might have had a great game and performed above their average talents.
Right.
So
Beautiful.
I always believe when there's effort, there's no loser.
Beautiful. And the reason I mentioned that is that I really want to make a philosophical point that sometimes you find more positivity in the 99 rather in the 100, if not equally even.
Absolutely, right.
Am I
Because
right?
sometimes being the winner, quote unquote, breeds arrogance or greed or, breeds some things that may not all be
right, you're
perfect.
right, you're right,
Yeah,
you're right.
rather because not everybody's a gracious winner. Not everybody's a humble winner.
yeah, good,
and
good, good,
and I
good.
believe in grace and humble
yeah,
humility
yeah.
and that. So, there's wonderful feelings coming out of giving your best effort and maybe not prevailing.
By hanging along with you for this many years, though,
Yes, sir.
I started to create some kind of concept. I really wish there are some kind of games. There are three players, and then the referees are judging them from different angles. You're the best in this area category. You're the
Right.
best in this category, and he is the best in the other category.
Right.
And everybody is the best. How about that?
Yeah,
Right. Something like that.
However, now in our youth programs now, some of this evolution of be good to everybody, where if you participate, you get a trophy. Still, you should be rewarded for winning and appreciative of losing.
All right,
not,
good.
not just everybody gets something, because then there's.
And by that,
real life
I
isn't
do.
that way.
By that, I do wish to introduce the Chinese Confucius philosophy
Which I
to
do
our
admire.
Western friend.
Right.
Okay. Now, to give it a analysis, right? Nowadays, if you play chess with a computer,
Yeah,
you're bound to lose, right? Okay. Now,
it can happen.
how about let computer play with the computer,
Right, good point.
and 100% they will tie. The software put in you, and I have.
Yeah.
The one in me, you
Right,
have.
right.
We're playing by the same rules,
Yeah.
same softwares, and they are bound to tie.
It's hard to beat yourself unless you
Tie up,
want
right?
to lose.
Okay,
Yeah.
Now, to me, the understanding of the reading of the Western way is more or less of the computerized way. However, if you play the Chinese chess Go,
I don't.
the Go that has 361
Wow.
pieces,
Wow.
181 black,
Wow.
180 white,
Wow. I'd like to see that.
and then they play by occupying areas.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Yeah. For a certain piece, if you put it at a certain point, though, it occupies probably 10 times area it could have.
Right.
It
Okay.
could do. Right. By that, if you play that, you come to an idea that probably no computer can do it. It's only to the human mind.
Yeah. Okay.
And the human mind, though, comes to a point that it is harder to judge, to find a loser from a winner. I mean, winner from a loser.
Okay.
Unless you sit down, seriously consider how conceptually, artistically, each party play.
Yeah.
And
right.
that is the idea that I would like to introduce to my Western world friend.
Right.
Who,
It would take a good seminar to do that. But you're saying that all the pieces don't have exactly equal power. There can be,
Yeah, it
right.
depends. It depends how you play.
Yeah.
It depends how you play. In chess, though, you really have a certain ways of what can do.
Right. Right.
You can do which way you do like that, and with the goal, anything and everything, every piece you can do there equally.
See, and the beautiful thing about chess is you're not just playing one move, you're thinking 3 or 4 moves ahead.
Of course.
And that's the beautiful thing for training the brain, which we all like better.
I call upon the world leaders of the United States, of China, of Russia, to play Go.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Rather than a basketball match,
Yeah,
right? Rather than a game of any ball,
Yeah.
right? They judge simply with anything that can come to a conclusion, a winner and loser or whatever, right? So, and today with my good friend Ken Hemming, political commentator, we are talking about the visit of President Xi Jinping to Latin America and the premier and his delegation at exactly the moment when Trump, President-elect, is preparing for his transition to his presidency. And we ourselves, Americans, I take myself as Americans, yet with some Chinese root.
yes, you certainly are, both.
We do wish that these two countries are shaking hands, are entering into collaborations, and I believe that's a token towards positivity. So let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, though, we need to find out what is there in Latin America that will benefit both countries,
Right.
or what is there in Latin America that will cause. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Paul Batanley, that represents the internationally renowned the man suit, such as the jacket I'm wearing. And it is a wonderful jacket. It is world-renowned. And Paul, thank you very much for sponsoring. Back to the show with my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming, a wonderful writer. Oh, by the way, your book, I like it so much.
Thank you.
It is entitled Life is Simple. As a matter of fact, life is simple.
It is, when you
But
prepare
it
yourself.
has prerequisites,
Right.
right? The subtitle, what is subtitle? 100 words
to live by.
To live by,
Right.
right? Life is simple. This title exactly echoes with the Chinese one beautiful proverb saying that there is no problem under heaven unless you make it.
I'll drink to that. Really?
Or to put it more precisely, there's no problem under heaven, villains make it.
Right, and you can disallow problems to impact you in a negative way.
It depends who you are.
That's all the
right?
attitude.
It depends how you think.
Right.
Okay.
It's
now,
all how you think.
Sure.
Right.
Very good. Take the relationship between China and the United States and China, or we can even get Russia included. There should be, could be, no problem, yet people are creating it. Either involved or not even involved. As bystanders, they would like to watch a show or something. Oh, yeah, sometime. Right. Now, with my good friend Ken Hamming, we are talking about the planned visit from the 17th, which is today, to the 23rd by Mr. Xi Jinping, President of China. And I was asking my friend Ken Hamming about his take, about his hope, about his commentation on this visit.
You know, one thing's interesting. The visitors are going to Cuba, Venezuela, Argentina, and Brazil. Now, Cuba, as we know, is 93 miles from us, from Florida.
All right.
So you know, there could be some sort of controversial issues or feelings about trying to become too influential that close to America. And of course, South America or Latin America is pretty close too. So, and then there's the very serious issues. Most of the visit relates to investment. China has invested in Asia and it's invested in Africa, and some of the investments have worked out fine. Some have had not a return on investment so impressive, but they're sort of moving on now to the next area of investments because there's a lot of money in China, and now they're looking at South America, and a lot of it has relates to resources such as food, agriculture, oil, iron, tin.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's different statuses of each of the countries. Venezuela is in absolute turmoil, but they have a lot of oil. And so it's very iffy how that trip will result in something good or positive for either country. The president, the female president there, is under a lot of attack.
I still want, Cam, to do a little insert about what we haven't finished with the political part.
Yes, sir.
So you're now looking at the investment economical part, right?
Right.
And there is one more thing you need to mention about the timing of this visit, right?
Okay.
Now, United States is called for a change.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Dramatic.
With the coming up presidency.
Yeah.
Right. And China has the plan to move that direction. So, would this be a testing water? To see how United States, how Donald Trump will respond.
Well, I think number one, he's not president yet, so right now it's on Obama's call.
He will be,
but he will be. You know, I do expect that Mr. Trump will have project greater strength of America, greater resolve for peace, as well as for good economic relationships. You know, deals, he's a deal maker, can be good for both sides. And
he's pushing the Keystone pipelines.
Well, the North Dakota,
yeah,
right.
Yes.
But well, and then we just discovered 20 billion barrels of oil in Texas, which is going to be huge for our economy, create a ton of jobs. And the stock market, of course, went down real quick the night of the election, but has come back with what they call the Trump rally, because people are believing if we do have lower tax rates, if we do have allow money to come back from overseas at a 10% rate rather than 35 or 45, it's just going to create activity. And an infrastructure, of course, America has many needs for infrastructure. Our roads, I mean, I've run over more potholes than I can think about.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So there are, and also it's not all government funding, it's bonds, and
yesterday I watched one show that Donald Trump is taking the 60 Minutes interview.
Yes, sir.
In which he made one point that we have spent $6 trillion on the wars. And he says that amount of dollars would rebuild United States twice.
Might be true.
Had we have that kind of money, why don't we do something to our potholes, to our freeways, to our bridges, and to our schools? right?
Well, those
Something
are all
like that.
absolutely. Well, in our schools, I'm
Right,
a
very
big,
good, very
big
good.
issue on that. But also we have to maintain our humanity. That if certain countries, like what was going on in Iraq, Saddam Hussein was killing hundreds of thousands of people and his own people, and you know we got into World War II too late. We let
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
So
there's
it's real
always a
tricky.
reason of doing that. I'm talking about if you are overdoing it, you get it overdone.
Correct.
You're stretch yourself too thin.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't think Saddam Hussein was doing the right thing to kill that many people.
Not really,
However, to wage a war that size, right? We can hire
Well-
hitmen to kill him. That's it.
Well, that's well. That,
Like
that's
the way
not a
we
bad-
did, the way we did with Bin Laden, right? Okay, now forget that part.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the investment you're talking
Right,
about.
right.
Investment and development
Yeah.
of China's side.
Yeah.
I'm more worried about the fact in the market when Chinese come in, and the market, of course, closer to United States.
Right.
Okay. Now there are two possibilities.
Yeah.
One, to create some kind of conflicts. Okay, let me get in first, or something like that.
Right.
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 And they argue, say, hey, I have more money. Right. So, and the second way is that, okay, now that you are interested in that piece of land, I am too. Let's join hands. We have the technology. Right?
Right.
We have the equipment.
Right.
China has the money.
Right.
And has this strong wish.
Yeah.
So let's combine. Let's put some kind of a U.S.-China joint venture or something.
Right, right. Well, I think those things will happen. For example, in Venezuela now, China's offering a lot of money up front for future oil production.
You're right.
And so that makes sense because cash is always a big enticement.
And the United States may say, let me do the refineries.
Yeah.
Okay, and then let's share the benefit, whatever.
And there's, see, right now, Latin America has more exports to China than to the United States. And when I read that and listened to it, I went, holy cow, because I wasn't aware of that.
Okay, all right,
So
okay.
that's a lot. But of course, China's a pretty big country, you know.
And there is always a chance the United States, U.S., we put some refineries in Latin America, have it refined to ship to China to reduce the cost of shipping.
Sure,
Right?
Because of the
There's a way
geography.
out. Because of the long distance.
Right.
You are shipping huge quantities of crude oil rather than refined, whereas United States can get in, put them in refineries there, have it refined to the final point, and have them ship something more precious rather than crude.
In a lot of the activities that China has been involved in Latin America, like involve natural resources, which then have environmental consequences. I'm no expert on that. I don't believe in global warming, but I do believe in trees, you know, that type of thing.
Oh, yeah, of course,
So there's, and then also China is slowing its growth, and because it's so big and the countries in Latin America are smaller, when the exports from Latin America to China become a little lower, it has a bigger impact on Latin America than it does on China. Because so it's very tricky. I'm not an economist, but I think about it every day.
And also, it is, the collaboration of that area is more beneficial to the people there rather than foreigners.
Yeah, right.
Be it Chinese, be it American.
Yeah.
So, and the people there, local people, will get benefit. Local economy get benefit. So it's a win-win-win situation.
It is. There are a few
you
pure
think so?
democracies in Latin America. So that's a problem because then when people get too much power, it really sucks power from the people. Okay, so and we don't want that.
Since the last war that British waged,
Yeah.
all right, since the last war, I believe it is high time that Latin America did something for its own economy.
Sure,
Right?
you're right.
And
I agree.
then the effort of Chinese and Americans coming in would be absolutely welcome.
Right,
Do you think so?
if they cooperate. The whole thing is cooperation. In ideologies, we have different ideologies. Ideologies evolve over time. The Russian power before evolved into back to a country, and the wall went down in Berlin. And America was ideology going farther left. Now it's going to try to come back to the Constitution more, okay? So we're leaning one way, which I think has more respect.
Evolve. Evolution.
Right.
Evolution is the word,
Right.
right? Because you do
leadership.
have your principle though, but I mean, based upon the principle, your concept of even definitions of conflicts, a definition of benefit, evolve.
It does.
Do you think
right.
so?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
you
in
do
concept
think
and reality.
Okay, now overall, forget you and forget me.
Yes, sir.
What would the rest of the world take about the fact that the United States shake hands rather than create conflicts?
More cooperation, the more collaboration, the more joy on planet Earth in all countries.
All right.
Because it's just a safer world.
That's exactly echoes with the title of today's show.
Yes.
We call it Collaboration
Right.
/ World Peace
Right.
/ Trump Presidency.
Right.
All right.
And that's where we're going.
That's beautiful. All right, my dear audience, so let's take a very short moment. In the heat of talking about the Trump $100 day, I'm sorry.
I'll take the money.
Oh yeah, I'm a money lover. 100-day plan. We're talking about, we're adding a big news, good piece of news that President Xi Jinping of China is visiting. I truly believe that with Premier and his delegation, he's bringing tons of money along, which will benefit United States, Latin America, and China themselves.
Yes.
All right. So let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we'll find out how the third party would like it or not like it. So stay with us. Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome back to the From East to the West show, exclusively sponsored by Paul Bottanley. That's the internationally renowned men's suit that represents class, fashion, and culture, which is the one I'm wearing one jacket about. I feel proud of myself, and I'm appreciative to Paul for sponsoring. Back to the show. With my friend, a wonderful friend, a philosophical kind of friend, we stick together all the time with differences, with common ground. More common ground than differences. At least we both like beer.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
We drink lots of beers. Anyway, we're sharing the fact that we're celebrating the upcoming presidency with his 100-day plan versus the breaking news that President Xi Jinping of China is looking at Latin America, testing water, I don't know, to actually bring money with a big delegation to Latin America to do business. And the United States, of course, has interest in that great piece of land. And of course, with my friend Ken Hamming, I found more positivity
Absolutely.
than negativity.
Right, absolutely.
Right. Don't call me an optimistic.
Yeah.
I am realistic.
Right. Okay.
Very good. Now, let's remember, we can't forget there is always a third party.
Yes.
Now the third party being Russia.
Right.
If you are in Russian shoes right now, for example, suppose if you were Vladimir Putin,
Right.
what would you think about what China and the United States are about to do?
Well, I believe an objective of Putin is to increase the strength and global footprint or power on planet Earth for Russia, and trying to rebuild and expand their borders of influence. I believe he's a very tough guy. I think we have been very soft in responding to his aggressiveness. I think he's a very aggressive fellow, And yet now with Mr. Trump coming in, who always says, I'll talk to Putin anytime. He says, I think I can get along with him, and I believe he can, because those are two strong people. And I purposely said people, not men, okay? Because there's beautiful, strong women in this world also. I believe that, before Obama drew a line and a red line in the sand about Syria and then just let it blow away, that I believe Mr. Trump, and I could even be wrong, when he says something, he will stick to it. And he's also a negotiator, and when it's appropriate to change course a little bit, I believe he'll recognize
Vladimir Putin is the same kind of person.
Except I don't think he's as flexible.
If not stronger by 10 times.
I think he's 10 times more stubborn. More stubborn.
More stubborn?
More stubborn, yeah.
In
other words, he's more committed to his ideology.
Okay. Now, let's cool down for a moment,
power.
right? For a moment.
Yes, sir.
They invaded Afghanistan. That was many, many years ago. Not in his hand.
Right.
Not in the hands of Vladimir Putin. Right.
It was a disaster.
So, ever since he assumed his position, now he hasn't created anything himself, except those kind of border issues with whatever stand,
Ukraine and
Ukraine,
and Syria now.
And Syria now.
And I'm not sure what side
he
he's
hasn't
on.
launched any invasion to any country in his hand so far.
Except the trucks going into the Ukraine. But yes, right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the little conspiracy thing,
Yeah.
everybody do.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that, right?
Yeah.
But thing is that to openly launch a war,
he hasn't done that.
to invade any country, he hasn't done that.
Right.
Right. Why would the people have, quote unquote, a bad impression about him?
Well, he was head of the KGB in Russia.
He was.
He's a very brutal man, and I think he's done some nasty things, and so it's
domestically.
You might say it's respect/fear. Okay, you respect his commitment to his ideology, and you fear what he might do. And one of my excitements about President-elect Trump is we're going to reestablish the strength of our military, which is like our Navy has less Navy ships now than before, like in 1937. So our military has been weakened.
And well, of course,
which is sad.
I do not disagree with you.
Yeah.
But the fact is that Putin has a country which is the remainder after the split.
Right.
After the split.
Yeah.
So he has lots of broken part to fix, right? And he has holes here and there everywhere. I would say, except their military, there is nothing stronger of Russia on Russia's side than United States, than China.
Absolutely true.
Right. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now.
Perfect.
Now, if I were him, I would be smarter than what he is now to open himself up, right? I do have this military position now, which is there, which is acquired, right? Yeah. And by the given fact that I have lots of problems, I need money, I need food, right? I need beef.
Their economy is weak,
right? I need fish, right? And I even need fish powder. These Latin America countries produce, right? What if he joins? I'm maybe a little naive. What if he joins the party, to get a piece of pie, equally, fairly, like that, instead of sitting there being stubborn,
right?
So
stubborn with
your
power,
quote, right? Your quote.
Yeah.
So
you just hit a good word though, because right now then China is going to allow Brazil to export beef to China. It had been disallowed before, and beef is it's a big product in Latin America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even you know something called omasum?
I don't.
Omasum, which is the stomach of a cow.
Okay.
Yeah. So Russians like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the tongues.
Yeah.
Beef tongues, right? Okay. Now Latin America has lots of that. They have lots of that, right?
Lots.
If Vladimir Putin, Mr. Vladimir Putin, by the way, I really wish he can watch this show though. My recommendation, and also by the way, could be your recommendation, is that he kind of like take his shirt off and just
Oh no, he does.
just join the party.
He wants to be as manly as he can look to his people. That's what he does. I guess he's a single guy. He's got a beautiful actress as a girlfriend.
He's a good guy. I like him. I like him.
But I do fear him.
Especially when I read his stories. All right, and he's a man that who has the guts to stand for himself, right or wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right or wrong. Probably right or wrong is the right way to
I am
describe
certain
him.
that
But
Trump.
there is always a room of recommendation. There is
Absolutely.
always a room to himself, an option. Right?
Right.
Option is that instead of doing that, he may do what I say. Well, his military position is strong already. Not the strongest, but strong already.
Yeah. A lot of nuclear weapons.
Lot of
And that's
nuclear weapons.
real strong.
There's no question.
Right.
There's no doubt.
Not as much
There's no doubt.
machinery and men. Right.
Exactly. All right. And well, economically, and by agriculture, by natural produce, stuff like that, and they are in the serious lack of. Right? Why wouldn't he join the party? Do you think? My question. Do you think, if he's smart enough, sees the opportunity, would say, "Hey, guy, okay, take me in"?
If he's smart enough, yes. But if he believes in his own soul that he can achieve more power without also assisting China and America, he would probably go his own way before.
All right,
that.
okay, all right.
But I hope he's more practical.
Okay. Now, speaking of being assistants, it is always, to me, if you have a healthy purpose of assisting, go ahead, do it. If you do not have a healthy purpose,
right.
I say,
That's
for
good.
example,
right.
our cameraman is right behind the camera.
Yes.
Let's take him for example, right? Okay, now, I support you, I assist you for the purpose of beating him,
Yes. Okay.
right? Or I can do it in different ways, that let the three of us be a team,
Right.
for the betterment of this show.
For the team
so
as
that,
a whole.
Yeah, for the team
Right.
as a whole, for the betterment of the show, so that you do your best, I do my best, and my cameraman Santo does his best.
Right. Right.
So, and then we have, as a result, end of the
Yeah.
day, we have a better show.
And it's how you talk to each other. You know, you
And the
talk
same
down
way,
or
and
you
the same
talk
way,
up or the
if
same.
you- If you assist my cameraman Santo,
Yeah.
for the purpose of defeating me, you're
Right.
evil.
Right. Yeah. Like,
evil.
oh, Santo, take pictures of Jack's worst side, not his best
Yeah,
side.
exactly.
That type
exactly,
of thing.
Exactly.
Right.
And the
which is
same thing.
insane.
The Santo is the same thing also.
Yeah.
Right? So, unless the three all work out of a healthy purpose,
Yeah.
otherwise we don't see any hope of this world, because you're talking about
No, that's
one,
right.
two, three, the three strongest nation of the earth on the earth, right?
Yeah. And we must not forget Iran also now too. 'Cause
Oh yeah,
They're a-
Iran is
they're a
coming. All
3.5,
right,
so we
very
can't
good,
forget 'em, but we don't
very
need to
good,
talk
very
about it,
good.
but-
Okay, my dear audience, I'm really having lots of fun, and I call it a really healthy time with my good friend Ken Hemming, a wonderful writer who I adore so much, and a wonderful philosopher. And we are talking about, matter of fact, I don't know why those politicians, the bigger the politicians, the more stupid they are. To the level like where I am though, I see things like, okay, come on, it's simple like that.
See,
Right?
too big an
They confuse
ego.
themselves by themselves.
Too big an ego by certain politicians blinds their vision.
All right. And now that President of China, Mr. Xi Jinping, make his first move to look into a land that needs the development, and well, we hope that could be a call upon United States, call upon Russia, call upon people of their homeland of Latin America to work together for a better world, at least a better Latin America. Why not?
Right.
Okay, very good. Let's take a very short moment. When we come back, we take a look at the area, the hot pot area.
It's hot now.
I like the term. The
Major
hot pot
interest.
area. Boiling hot pot.
Right.
All right.
Good old
So,
hot pot.
okay. Thank you very much, my audiences. We'll be right back. Hello, my dear lovely friends. Welcome back to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by Paul Betenley. Paul Betenley. Remember the name, Paul, P-A-U-L, Betenley, B-E-T-E-N-L-Y, Betenley, is a world-renowned name brand for men's suit that represents culture, lifestyle, and tradition.
I love that.
Very good. You love that.
Yeah, I do.
All right, guys. Well, you got to pay me on account. Well,
I'll do that.
I can ask them to give you a piece for a discount price.
Yeah,
How
okay,
about
it's
that?
a deal.
Very
Blue
good.
blazer, that's me.
All right, very good. Thank you, Paul, and back to the show. With my friend Ken Hamming, my dear brother, we are sharing lots of simple but important issues.
Very important.
The reason when I say it's simple, because it's kind of like so much obvious on the table. One with a good pair of eyes, a sight, it doesn't have to be 20/20, even below 20/20, you can see what's right, what's wrong. When I say important, meaning that even though they are, in spite of the fact that they're so obvious, sometimes misread, mislooked upon, right? So now, with the fact Donald Trump is elected to President of the United States, and within a month and a half, we'll see him in the office, in the Oval Office.
I'm ready.
2 months and a half.
Yeah.
No. 2 months.
January 20th.
Yeah, exactly 2 months. We'll see him in the Oval Office. And at this very moment, there is a big news coming, and it came already, that the President of China made his approach to our neighbor, right? Our southern neighbor, Latin American countries, and with his delegation, with his premier, trying to, of course, to find a home for their money. They have lots of money.
A lot of money.
And they have money burn holes in the pocket.
Right, that's right. There's a lot of money.
Good. And Latin America need money. And United States have technology, equipment, everything, high-tech stuff to export.
So, relatively close.
Relatively close,
Yeah.
right? It sounds to me a moment to do something better. That's why we name the show Collaboration / Worldpeace / Trump Presidency.
Right, perfect name.
So, after analyzing all the blatant fact, we probably can confirm it is some move that has far more positivity than negativity.
Absolutely.
Right? We even added Russia into the picture, and a result of which we found out even Russians can benefit from it if they took part in.
That's right, absolutely.
All right, good. Now in this segment, we take a look upon other troubled areas, that is the boiling pot, right, of Middle East.
Yes.
And take Iran, take the Iranian nuclear development, for example. Of course, there is nuclear problems with Korea, but they are too small for this moment. We just let it aside.
Right.
And what's your read about Iran at this moment when the world calls upon for collaboration?
Well, I can't believe we signed a nuclear deal with Iran while the president and the people are saying in the streets, "Death to America." And our current administration has said, that they've eliminated the possibility of nuclear power or nuclear weapons for Iran. But the reality is, it really gave them a clear path to have nuclear power, nuclear weapons, and they're right by Israel, and they keep saying they want to eliminate Israel. So I'm very worried about that. I can't believe we send $1.7 billion in cash on airplanes to give to them, and some of which is money for hostages to be released. I don't know why we did that. I know that will end. I don't get it. There's some subplot in Obama's intentions with Iran. I don't know what it is.
Do you think that Donald would undo it, or could he be able to undo it?
Well, what's going to happen, I believe, is there will be strong sanctions begun again.
Stronger or strong? It's already strong, I believe.
No, most have been released now. most of the sanctions have been released. So, and we've given the money,
It's been
that money
sanctioned.
back. Yeah. So, so I think there'll be, I think the relationship will be a little more equal and a little more demanding on our part. Iran, you know, it's not a huge country, but it's very, very powerful in its desires.
Influential in the Middle East area,
Right.
in which they play
Right.
as the core
Right.
of the whole apple.
And they're very involved in everything that happens in Iraq and in that area,
exactly.
okay,
Uh-huh.
in Afghanistan. So I'm very, very worried about that because I think they're willing to do things that common sense does not want you to do. So for their ideology.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to.
What if someday United States and China join hands
And China's a
on
very important
that issue,
right,
on that issue,
with sanctions.
and would Iran capitulate, for example? They will not surrender totally, I know,
They won't.
but it will at least do something to capitulate.
It may slow them down because their ideology
slowing down.
is really hateful to all non-believers, okay? And so they're committed to that. We're their enemy if we're an infidel. If we believe in Christ or we believe in nobody.
It
so,
was-
So
it-
they live for one purpose. But they're people, sweet people just like we are. But they get brainwashed.
By the way,
Yeah.
it was exactly this morning I read one thing, right, one research, I'll omit the name
Yes,
and
sir.
I'll omit the thing,
Right.
in which they found out that the world expert in anthropology
Yes, sir.
found out as a conclusion that in order to sustain a culture, your popularization rate, what is they call it fatality rate.
Right.
Your fatality rate has to be above 2.11.
Yeah, okay. Right.
2.11.
Because if it's 2, all you're doing is replacing the parents that died.
Yeah, you're right.
And so
right.
that's
All right.
simple equation.
Okay,
Yeah.
now, United States is exactly on the mark of a 2.11. That means we
going
can
down.
sustain.
Yeah.
We are going down,
Yeah.
which is dangerous, right?
It's very dangerous,
Now, Germany, 1.3.
Wow.
UK, 1.6.
Right.
France, 1.1. Right? You know how they produce Middle East?
Oh, 3 or 4?
8.1.
8, yeah. Well, they're having one of the ways of spreading their ideology and their, their
sir,
religion is through
regardless
have more
you
babies.
are an anthropologist,
Right.
or you are a philosopher,
Right.
you are a politician, or you are whoever, I don't care. These are the numbers you
Yeah.
have to really think as versus the future world. Okay, right? Killing is not a method. Killing.
Right, yeah.
But philosophy.
Right.
I do recommend.
Yeah.
And I would
And
say
outnumbering.
I would wish that President Xi Jinping of China would have a chance to watch the show. That there is one guy who is crazy enough to recommend and say, hey, when you bring money to Latin America, to anywhere, bring the philosophy with you, please.
Right.
Right? Only philosophy can take care of the problem, make people think differently. Other than that,
That's right.
Other than
Right.
that, your bombs wouldn't work, your money wouldn't work,
Right.
your anything, nothing would work. Right.
Yeah.
So that's the
And
concern.
that's why I really believe our education system in America right now is deep
It was
trouble.
a cool analysis, right?
we
And
don't.
it was so discouraging.
Yeah. Right.
When I
It is.
when I read it, I said to myself, oh, wow. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Yeah, you're right.
I call upon you guys to produce more babies. All right.
You're right. I'll tell my daughter that after the
Yeah,
show.
do that, please, after the show. Okay, my dear audience, today, in the heat of talking about Donald Trump, President-elect of the United States, of his 100-day plan, we came across a breaking news that President Xi Jinping of China has made his first move going to Latin American countries sharing this information or going into depth in the discussion is my good friend Ken Hemming, philosopher. There's one thing I would ask.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now he's kind of a warming up, doing a water test,
Okay.
right, about that area. Do you think once Donald Trump assumes his presidency,
Yes.
President of China would come over here for the first meeting, first official meeting, official visit to the United States with the Donald Trump?
You know, if he does it, I think Mr. Trump will go right over there, because there will be a dialogue. Now, I worry about the Chinese president, you know, coming here and going to Trump Tower, which is all gold and lavish. You know, I don't know, maybe he'll want to stay here.
They will launch anti-corruption.
Yeah, right. But it's real good, because Trump is going to surround himself with some people that know the government and how to work with it, and also a lot of outside free-thinking business people. And Mr. Trump owes nothing to anybody because he didn't get paid.
Especially when he is hungry about policies,
Right.
about recommendations,
Very
or
hungry.
methods, or
Right.
anyway, if they even secrecies, whatever, and they can talk,
Yeah.
they can share, right? And recommendations might be made.
And now we have a new president who wants a salary of $1 a year. That's all he says he wants to get paid.
That is really a surprise to me. And
Well, he loves
of course,
the people,
money
I
is not
think.
important.
No.
That indicates he
Right.
doesn't work for money.
Right.
Right.
This
Okay,
is
very
his
good.
passion.
And even though I'm not in full support
Right.
to him, but I'm glad that we have the opportunity of changing.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see how that works. Let's see how the visit of President Xi Jinping of China to Latin America will work to the possible, very possible collaboration.
Benefit of all.
A benefit all, right? And to my audience, thank you very much for watching. And to my friend Ken Hemming,
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you for letting me be here.